We celebrate the birth of Helena Petrovna Blavatsky. She was born in Russia on August the 12th, 1831. She was an extraordinary woman who did very important things for the benefit of all human beings. It is only now that we begin to understand the dimension of her work. The purity of her heart allowed her to be the channel through which the masters of wisdom expressed and transmitted the eternal wisdom in a new way for the good of all humanity for this new age that began with the coronation of Queen Victoria of England. At that time, Madame Blavatsky was 6 years old. She was born at the beginning of the new age, and it can be said that the soul was born with the purpose of bringing about and laying the foundations of what will be this new stage of humanity. It is her qualities that make her suitable to fulfill the purpose of the hierarchy. She is a pure, transparent being with a compassion and love for humanity of such a magnitude that make her forget about herself. A woman full of courage with a powerful will who willingly offers herself to serve the masters. Such purity and dedication allowed her to ascend to the higher planes of existence where the masters dwell, and to transmit their wisdom for the spiritual evolution of all beings. She was a woman who traveled all over the world at a time when traveling was not easy, and much less so if you were a woman. Many times she had to disguise herself as a man in order to be able to make the journeys. They were not pleasure journeys. They were search journeys, where she became imbued with the roots of different cultures, traditions, and religions. She experienced and lived an initiation in her life, which was hard and painful. She was criticized and abandoned by her own associates. There were many intrigues around her, both from members of the Theosophical Society and from the Brahmins of India, who did not want her to spread the knowledge of the sacred wisdom that they knew. Madame Blavatsky produced a massive literary work, numerous articles and lectures on theosophical subjects. She founded several magazines and also wrote short stories, for example, From the Caves and Jungles of Hindustan, Letters to the Homeland. There are 3 great works that deserve to be mentioned on the day when we remember that the great soul came to fulfill the purpose of the hierarchy for the good of all. Isis Unveiled was written in 1877. It makes a comparison between all religions and cultures. The Secret Doctrine, published on 1888, is a sacred work. I do not know how to summarize the greatness, beauty, and wisdom contained in this book. The legacy is immense. It is an immense legacy which she left us by writing it. It is born directly from the origin, from the source of eternal wisdom, in a language adapted to this new era of which she was the avant-garde and trailblazer. In this book, she dwells upon anthropogenesis, cosmogenesis, how the universe was created, which is our origin and our destiny. She tells us our history, reveals the masters and the hierarchy, whispers us the truth of unity of all existence. To all those of us who sincerely seek the truth, to all the souls who are going to incarnate in this new age, she gives us entry into all such mysteries. She published The Voice of the Silence in 1889, which is a translation of the Golden Beheads, a most ancient Tibetan book. A very beautiful poetic translation in whose preface she states, "In this translation, I have done my best to preserve the poetic beauty of the language and the images that characterize the original." She always said that she was a channel, that she was not inventing anything new, that the eternal wisdom was presented in a new form, but that her teachings came from the highest spheres. She also said we should not accept things blindly because they come from the masters. Instead, we must prove it to be true all by ourselves. To prove it means to work it out in daily life, to experience it at all times and in all places, to do all that is required for each one of us to ascend to the Buddhic plane, to live in harmony and peace between heart and mind, to love, love, and love. In short, to live as a child of God. The Masters and HPB have given us the seed, but it is our work to make it blossom, germinate in our hearts, and express itself in our own lives. She gave her life away so that we could all move from the blindness of materialism into a new spiritual standpoint without the need to deny science. There are many passages in the secret doctrine where scientific articles and theories are cited that have subsequently been proven. To do what she did, what Madame Blavatsky did, implies a great deal of personal sacrifice. As we have said, she was born on August 12, 1831. She was born into a family of the Russian military aristocracy. Her father was a colonel and her mother was a writer. Her mother died when she was 11 years old. As a child and a youth, she would always read the books on alchemy and magic found in her grandfather's library. During her childhood, she had a connection with the master. She married at the age of 18 and left her husband after a year. But she asked him to keep his family name, which he accepted. At this point, she begins a journey of search throughout Europe and part of Asia for about 2 years, trying to answer all the questions that arise within her about the human nature. It is in 1851, when she was in London, where she had gone to meet her father, on an August 12th and on a Leo full moon, being the day she turns 20, that Master Moria, her master, approaches her and tells her, "We have a task for you. You can say no, But if you say yes, think that you will be alone and that it will be very hard for you and that you will suffer. One of the things that you will have to do is to go to Tibet to become specifically trained for the task which you have been assigned. Think about it. She immediately, right there, answers yes. She responds from her soul, placing herself at the disposal of the hierarchy and commits herself forever. Right then, she begins a period of training and research journeys. She knows already that what she has to do. She has to lay the foundations of the new age, and she prepares herself for that. Her health was never good. She also had to control and transcend the psychic and astral powers which she had, for she saw that they were an impediment for the work she had to do. She worked at many things in order to survive, but she never got paid, nor did she get any financial benefit from the work that she did to spread the spiritual wisdom and truth. Eventually, she was able to enter Tibet under the guidance of Master Morya, and for 3 years she was trained by Master Kutumi, who taught her many things, including sensor language. She goes in depth into the learning of English because the masters already considered that this would be the language of the new age in which they were going to transmit the teachings. She also had very particular, specific trainings. For instance, we have been told that for 1 hour a day, Master Kutumi massaged her brain, something quite painful but necessary for it to become plastic and moldable and lose its rigidity. After the 3 years of training, she leaves Tibet and travels again through Europe and Egypt, among other places, and finally goes to Paris. While there, she receives her master's command to go to New York. It can be said that this journey marks another important turning point, since it is from here on that she will know what she must do, and she finds the right way to shape and materialize that purpose. Once in New York, she meets Colonel Olcott, and together they found a Theosophical Society to diffuse the ancient philosophy that gives testimony of the supreme importance of spiritual life. A philosophy that shows that both man and nature have powerful psychic forces and declares that the human being is immortal. From that moment on, she devotes herself to this task. Under the guidance of her master, she writes Isis Unveiled. Always by the master's suggestion, she moves to the headquarters of the Theosophical Society in India. In India, she works for almost 16 hours a day. Her health gets affected as she has a poor health and she has to return to Europe. It is at this time when intrigues and slanders are contrived against her with the aim of discrediting her. She returns to India. She defends herself as much as she can from these lies, but she never gives up on her purpose and continues her work by starting to write the secret doctrine in 1884. One more time, her health weakens and she returns to Europe, where she resumes writing the Secret Doctrine. In one of those periods of illness, the Master came to visit her and grants her the choice to die and be free, or to live and finish the Secret Doctrine. She said, "You have worn me to the pains and torments if I chose to live. But I thought of those serious students who are waiting for my help, and of the whole society tormented by calamities, of all of whom the Secret Doctrine will be an anchor." These words give us the dimension of her commitment towards the good of humanity. Everything in her is purity, devotion, and fire. She was a first-rate soul and a first-rate personality. She was will, strength, power, fiery aspiration, and unflagging, unwavering power. A powerful personality full of will in service of the soul. A fiery initiate who came to blaze new paths and ways for all of us. The Secret Doctrine was published in 1888. It is and it will be a source of inspiration for all sincere searchers. The last gift that she gives us is the writing of the Golden Stairs. On May the 8th, 1891, she leaves her physical body. Since then, that is the White Lotus Day in her honor. She is an elder sister who opened the way that we want to go. On August the 12th, we gratefully remember Master Helena Petrovna Blavatsky. To conclude, I will read some sentences that Master Kumar Garu dedicates to her in his book, The White Lotus. She was stable like a rock and was unfolding the wisdom like a lotus. Until she has completely unfolded herself and unfolding the wisdom, she remained in the physical body. If you think of a lotus, it is inevitable that you think of Madame Blavatsky. And the moment you think of Madame Blavatsky, it is inevitable that you get the force of the fire that breaks the inertia of the matter. It can shatter matter and give light.